Hello, my name is Claudia Love Mair, and I'm the coordinator for the Kentucky Black Writers Collaborative. I would like to share with you a tradition of African Americans called Show Ways, and Show Ways were made on quilts. I'm going to look at my iPad so that I won't forget anything because this is a very important story to tell. I grew up listening to slave stories. Instead of reading them in books, they came riding on the voices of my mother, my great aunts, and my grandmothers, my great grandmother. Some of these stories were really horrifying, and some of them were really inspiring. But all of them felt personal to me because they were about people who had lived years and years ago in my own family. The oral tradition in my family was a deep wellspring that I could draw strength and courage from. Now, I am the keeper of those stories to tell to my children and my grandchildren. Quilts played a vital role in our country's very painful history. They were something that would keep the slaves warm, and this was needed in the harsh and cruel environments that they were forced to live in. The quilts were also beautiful and expressive, and this is a testimony to the creativity of the people who created them, who were actually thought to be, by some people, not even 100% human. The quilts were called showways because they were a secret language, and the language was hidden in the designs. They could point a slave to freedom. In other words, they could show the way to freedom. Showways. Showways were employed in the Underground Railroad. Rebel seamstresses, black and white, would stitch particular directions in the quilt's patterns. A monkey wrench pattern, which looks something like this, was a call to pull all your tools together and to get ready to make the difficult journey to freedom. A sailboat pattern would say that boats were available to help people travel. The drunken path told sojourners or people who were traveling that they needed to go from east to west. And here's a star pattern. Variations of the star pattern always reminded the travelers to follow the North Star, Polaris. It's estimated that 60,000 to 100,000 people made their way north to freedom using the Underground Railroad. And while we are fortunate in America to now enjoy the freedom that my slave ancestors were willing to die for, many of us still need a showway every now and then to keep us on track. As frail humans, sometimes we're prone to get caught up in all the things that don't matter. We need direction when we go off course. And maybe a showway could teach us the way. Now, there was a pattern called the bear claw. The bear claw was a code for the slaves to follow the trail that bears made with their footprints. The reason they were told to follow the bears was because bears always went to where water was, and they always went to where food was, like berries. So when the slaves followed the bear prints, they could find food and water. So all of the patterns that I've made, monkey wrench and the star, the monkey wrench meaning get all your tools together, we're about to go on a journey. And the star, which means follow the North Star because it will lead you to the north where you will find freedom. the bear claw is the pattern to tell you how to find water and food. So what I did was I cut out pieces of paper in squares and triangles. And you can look on the internet to find the different patterns if you search for Show Way on the internet or slave quilts. So I'm just going to take my square and I'm going to put a little more glue on there. All you need is construction paper, scissors, and a glue stick. So I'm going to put my little triangles onto the bigger square, and I put some lines so that I could have a guide to show me which way that the triangles go. So I'm putting my triangles on, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Don't worry about that. We just want to get a feel of what these seamstresses were doing and how clever it was. And now I'm putting the last square onto my pattern. And look at that. It looks like a bear claw. So the bear claw was just a reminder to follow the bears. I hope you enjoyed learning about showways as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Thank you so much for coming out to Family Fun Night, and we'll see you next time.